What dream about cemetery means. Dreaming of a cemetery may be a subconscious reminder of the impermanence of life and the inevitability of death. It could prompt contemplation about your own mortality and the passage of time. Cemeteries can also represent the past and memories of loved ones who have passed away. According to Miller, to wander through a cemetery in the courtyard of a church in a dream means that you have to deal with poverty in reality. An old church graveyard with signs of oblivion foreshadows a long life and a lonely old age. A person will outlive his loved ones. Seeing new neat rows of graves is a good sign. Dream interpretation predicts that a person who is between life and death will gain recovery in reality. What does it mean to dream about walking through a cemetery? If you dreamed about walking through the cemetery in winter, this is a sign of getting apart with people close to you due to departure to another country. If the visit to the cemetery took place in summer, or if the approach of heat was felt, this means that dear people will always be near you. As for young people, if they see a dream about walking through a cemetery, this means constant friend support. However, they will have to endure grief soon, and friends will not be able to help. If a couple that is in love was walking in the cemetery in a dream, this means they will not get married in real life. Walking alone in the cemetery predicts an unsuccessful marriage, and to see your own burial is a sign of betrayal. Walking through the cemetery with your mother in a dream is a sign of health problems. If your boyfriend accompanied you at the cemetery, this may be a sign of temporary parting because of relocation. If you walk through the cemetery at night, this plot predicts a meeting with a deceitful person. A girl who dreamed before the wedding, as the wedding procession moves through the cemetery, and the wedding ceremony takes place there, may later lose her husband due to an accident. If a young widow visited cemetery in a dream, this plot predicts life changes and that she will get married again soon. Sometimes we are surprised that we have seen ourselves or our relatives at the cemetery and have experienced pacification. Meanwhile, this indicates a well-developed intuition. Sometimes coming alone to the cemetery is a symbol of good health in reality. The mother, who laid flowers on the tombstone, receives assurances of the good health of all family members from the dream books. If children were playing near tombs fences in your dream, this is a symbol of renewal that brings positive family changes. If the monument is made of white stone, your family hopes will come true. If the grave place was ready, but the dead man disappeared in your dream, this plot predicts bad news. If the grave is intended for the dreamer, the prophetess Venga instructs to be on the lookout. There will soon be news that will drastically change your life, and not for the better. Looking into a freshly dug grave hole predicts loss of a close friend. Seeing a poorly buried dead man, your friend is in danger. Dreaming of getting lost in the cemetery, the destruction of friendship. Reading gravestone inscriptions at daylight, unpleasant troubles. Running through the cemetery means committing a bad deed. Wandering among the graves warns of a conflict with the top management. Walking and seeing a cemetery means a successful solution to the existing difficulties. Looking for a grave predicts a new high position. Looking for a grave and not finding it symbolizes a serious illness. Choosing a good spot at the cemetery and digging a hole yourself is interpreted as harm caused by someone from your surrounding. To decorate a hillock with beautiful paper wreaths in a dream promises recovery. To buy beautiful fresh flowers means a sudden meeting with a person who was considered dead. Tidying up what was destroyed by vandals at the cemetery is a sign that the seriously ill patient will regain consciousness. To watch the cemetery through the car window means to distance yourself from your spouse and from solving household problems. Unlike the memorial dinner at home, which, by the way, predicts either peace in the family, or bad news, traditional memorial food at the cemetery is usually scarce. Such dream is interpreted as future poverty and the need for help. It is even a worse sign to sit at a rich table right near grave fence. The interpreters predict disgrace and curses. Top 5 negative meanings of cemetery in a dream. If it suddenly began to rain while you were walking through the cemetery, in reality a sad event will occur related to the deception of a relative. Walking among the graves along with ill-wishers warns of a difficult life period and bankruptcy. Being at the cemetery with your ex-partner warns of the danger to one's life. Dream of falling into a dug grave, sign of intrigues at work. Removing dried flowers from graveyard means the lack of attention of the opposite sex. Top 5 Positive Cemetery Biblical Dream Meanings. Walking through a beautiful cemetery promises speedy recovery of the dreamer or his relatives. Walking through the cemetery and digging graves means getting rid of ill-wishers. Seeing flowering trees at the cemetery is a sign of the end of hard times and the beginning of a profitable project. Freshly dug graves symbolize a fun party. Marble gravestones sign of career growth. Dreaming of a cemetery might indicate that you are experiencing the end of a particular phase or situation in your life. Dreaming of a cemetery may serve as a reminder of the need for spiritual reflection, repentance, and making amends with God before one's time on earth is over. A dream featuring a cemetery may encourage self-reflection and a call to seek forgiveness for one's sins or wrongdoings.